Microphone's on. Call to order. Board of Zoning Appeals for December 11th, 2023. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the November 27th meeting.
I move that we approve it.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Next up, any special requests or continuances? Mr. Nelson.
No continuances and no special requests. I do have something that I'll bring up from the floor later on in the meeting.
Okay. Then we'll move on to findings of fact. First up is BZA 2023-046, a development standards variance for David Gilman on behalf of CLS Greenwood LLC for 532 North State Road 135.
Chairman, in consideration of statutory criteria, move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as a final decision and final action for variance petition number BZA 2023-046.
Motion by Mrs. Peters, second by Mr. King. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Next is BCA 2023-047, a development standards variance from Brent Roberts on behalf of Fanneman Design for 1464 West Stones Crossing Road.
Mr. Chairman, in consideration of statutory criteria, move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision, final action for variance petition number BZA 2023-047.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Any old business? Not seeing none on the agenda. Any old business from the floor? And then we'll move on to new business. First up is BZA 2023-048. This is a use variance for 1602 South Graham Road. Petitioner is Abi Dhaliwal on behalf of Macro Holdings, requesting approval of a use variance in order to operate a truck sales center with outside storage and truck services in the IL zoning district. All those wishing to speak either for or against this, please stand and be sworn in by our secretary. And who do we have joining online, Mr. Greenwood? Are you here for a specific docket?
Yep.
I'm just witnessing.
I didn't catch that. Okay, sorry, Mr. Greenwood, we did not pick up your audio. I don't know if IT can assist with that. Okay, are all the notices and receipts in order?
They're in order and in our file.
And
Just want to admit the UDO to the record.
okay. Sir, tell us your name and address for the record.
My name is Abi Dhaliwal. Good evening, committee members. So the address of the property is 1602 Graham Road, Greenwood, Indiana.
And what is your address, sir, your operating address?
My address is, my house address is 8114 Mellander Boulevard.
And there should be a form to fill that out with your name and address when you have an opportunity.
Sure, thank you.
Tell us why you're here.
So we are in the process of buying this real estate, 7.5 acres land, which is on Graham Road. And the property does not allow outside storage since it's the entire area is light industrial. So our plan is to develop this property as a truck sale. So we are looking for we have two applications. One is to allow outside storage with the screening or berms and other areas. Another one is dimensional variance application, which because there is a housing in around the area within 1,000 feet. So the housing is on other side of the interstate. So that's why we put this application.
Okay. We'll start with the first application, which is to operate the truck sales center with outside storage and truck services in the Isle zoning district. And then we'll move on after that to the outdoor storage within 1,000 feet of residential property and to allow outdoor storage in the front yard. If that's okay.
That's right.
Do you have your answers to the statement of reasons that you submitted to the staff?
Yes, we have this.
All right, we're going to read those into the record if you're okay with that.
Yes, that's fine.
So number one, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because. And
Yes.
this is for 48. This is for the truck sales center in the Isle zone.
So sorry, do you want me to read it or?
Yeah, if you would read it, please, your answer.
So the approval will not be injurious to the public health and safety, morals, and the general welfare of the community. And also the use of the value of the area.
Yeah, can you read your answer to that question, please, so we have it on the record?
So, because since like the total area, the entire area is light industrial, so because of this is a truck sale, so it will not impact the local traffic and safety and the standards of the subdivision will not be impacted with the truck sale, because truck sale is a very clean business and it's not affected with any high level of pollutions and all kind of stuff.
Okay. And then for the number two, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because
of the if you look at the entire subdivision, most of the example FedEx, Amazon, and Pitney Bowes, all other area, the users are like industrial, also the same kind of business, but they're end users of all those transportation vehicles, but this one is gonna be just same manner business, but it's a truck sale with the same vehicle, so I think the neighboring property and all the district property will not have any impact on this business.
okay. And number three, the need for the variance arises from some condition peculiar to the property involved because
Because like the layout of the property and also because of the visibility from the I-65, and that's why it requires a variance, because that does not allow this kind of outside storage and which is visible from the I-65. So we are going to take some extra steps to screen those vehicles from I-65.
okay. In your written response, you discussed that the size and configuration of the 7.54 acre parcel presents unique challenges and opportunities. That the specific property size for the establishment of a truck sales center with outside storage and a minor repair shop without interfering with the neighboring properties, which may have different configurations and uses. You noted that secondly, the property's location along I-65 makes it well suited for this type of venture as it provides convenient access for potential customers and minimizes traffic disruption to residential areas. The need for this variance is intrinsic to the property's characteristic, making it suitable for the proposed use while preserving the integrity of the surrounding community. Do you recall that answer? And do you still agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Number four, the strict application of the terms of zoning ordinance will constitute an unusual and unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought because?
Sorry, number four, your number four on the summary of the proposed thing?
Yeah, so your written response was that the strict
Oh, the
application.
number four, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat again?
Yeah, the strict application in terms of zoning ordinance will constitute an unusual and unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought because?
Because this property has a limited economic, because of the size of the land, and also there's a lot of potential for economic viability because of the other users are in the area, which is also in the same business. So it will benefit to the local those industrialists from the truck sales, and also like, the property is specific location on I-65, so it will have a very good access for the potential people going by to buy the equipment, which is needed for their business.
Okay. And number 5, the approval does not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan because,
Because the entire subdivision is most of the subdivisions are in the same business, and because of the traffic, even though the traffic on the road is going to be very minimum, because it's the user will not be hauling like heavy cabs with trailers and containers and all kind of stuff. So it will be a minimum impact for those areas.
anything else you'd like to add on this one before we ask anyone else if they have comments?
What we will do, we have a good experience in building these kind of truck sales centers. We will build a very good architecture controlled building, and which will be highly visible from I-65. It will increase the value of the subdivision, and also we will do the best landscaping of the area. And it's not like something like people will be grabbing the yard and start putting the trucks there for sale. So we will be building the building and with the high standards according to the City of Greenwood's architecture controls of the subway, and also like the site will be completely paved. And so I believe this will be one of the beautiful building in the subdivision, and it will be very beneficial to the local community if City of Greenwood allows outside storage with truck sales and on-site minor repairs for those equipments.
Okay. All right. Anyone else wishing to speak to this? Seeing none, I will ask the staff for your comments and your input that was on the report.
Yep, so staff does agree with the position or statement of reasons, and we also included those in the staff report. They'll be admitted into the record in addition to the statements provided tonight. This is a use for truck sales, and on that site there'll be a repair center. So a lot of the trucks that they'll be selling are going to be used trucks that will be for sale. It is in the industrial zone, in the industrial large zone, surrounded by warehousing. Across the street, there is the FedEx parking lot. There's also plans for a fire station to go south of there, public service, and then Lions Head Metal. Then if you go to the really the west side of it, it's I-65. So later on, when he talks about his second variance, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Staff did recommend some conditions with this, if it is to be approved, for you to consider adding. There are 6 conditions that we suggested, and part of the outdoor storage, just to clarify what that is, they're not going to be storing tools or supplies outside. It's really just for the product that they sell, the semi-cabs. Our outdoor storage and our UDO does it in some places include the vehicles that are on site for repair and for semis as outdoor storage. So it's kind of they're really only asking for one variance, but it falls under the use and the dimensional variance.
Okay. Sir, you're aware of the 6 proposed conditions?
Yes, I have read that.
Okay. I'm going to read them into the record just so we have them, because we'll probably reference them later. But number 1, only front cabs, not the rear container portions of commercial semis shall be located on the property. Number 2, front cabs must be screened from view of neighboring properties or rights of way. Number 3, repair services may not be located outside and must be located within an enclosed structure. Number 4, all outdoor storage shall be screened from adjacent uses with a wooden or stone fence or an opaque wall of shrubs the greater of 6 feet in height or 1/2 the height of the equipment being screened. This includes outdoor storage facilities and any stored vehicles or equipment being serviced. Number 5, no outdoor storage of materials within 1,000 feet of residential property or within the front yard shall be permitted for this business by this use variance. Outdoor storage in the aforementioned areas shall be permitted only by the successful granting of the accompanying dimensional variance, which is BZA 2023-049, that we will talk about after this. And then number 6, there shall be no overnight lodging permitted on the property. So again, you're good with all of those conditions.
Yes, I agree with this.
Anything else before I turn it over to the board?
I think the only thing I would say, because of the size of the site, that's why we are looking for outside storage and parking in this area. Most of the property is, if you look at the shape of the property, I think it's a half, like maybe 70% of the property is gonna be usable, so I think it will not be impacting any other just or that I mentioned area the other side. That's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Close the public hearing. Open up the board, Mr. Milborn, any questions?
No, I just, so the outside storage will be enclosed or to some degree?
It will be enclosed, correct?
Yeah, so if they have any, anything related to the repair, that will be inside the building. There'll be a building on the site. And then the semi cabs, the front semi cabs, they will be behind the landscaping or the fence. It's either the shrubs or the fence or the wall. So nothing will be, there will be either landscaping or a fence around this entire site.
That's my mistake. Yes, that will be open, but
Next petition.
yes, it will be blocked, or there will be landscaping or walls to help screen them. So screen it, that's what I meant to say. Mr. King, Ms. Peters, I have no questions on this one either. So I will take a motion to admit all the evidence into the record.
Chairman, I move that we admit all the evidence presented in regard to this matter, including the notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application and attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, the staff report prepared by the planning department, certified copies of the Unified Development Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan, testimony of the petitioner, city planning staff, and any remonstrators, and all other exhibits presented, be they oral or written, for consideration by this board in regard to this petition, and to include the testimony of those present this evening.
Motion by Mrs. Peters, second by Mr. King. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. I will take a motion on the ballot itself.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request with the 6 conditions listed in the staff report. That should be the record.
I have a motion to approve with those 6 conditions. A second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Take a motion to direct the corporation council to draft written findings of fact.
Mr. Chairman, having considered the statutory criteria, I move that we direct the Corporation Counsel's Office to draft written findings of fact regarding our decision on the variance requested presented in variance petition number BZA 2023-048. Said findings specifically incorporate staff report and the evidence submitted into the record for consideration and adoption by the Board of Zoning Appeals as our final decision and final action regarding this petition at our next meeting.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. All right, we'll move on to BZA 2023-049, which is the same petitioner, Mr. Dhaliwal. Same property location. This time, though, it is for to allow outdoor storage associated with commercial trucking sales and repair center. I guess, Mr. Dhaliwal, do you have anything additional to add specific to this? Because I know you already spoke to the outdoor storage. as well.
Committee members, so this one is dimensional variance use application we had to file it because of the I-65. Other side of this facility, there is a residential properties, and so according to the local bylaws, so anything within 1,000 feet for the residential area needs a dimensional variance for the use of the property. So we have looked into, and then we were looking for this site. So if you look at the same site sketch, so there is an I-65 in between this property and the residential property. And I don't think so we will have any now sound pollution from this side to the other side of the residential area, because since there is I-65, it's already between I-65 and these homes are already screened with berm and shrubs and all kind of stuff. So we will also do additional berming and putting a proper landscaping, so it will also minimize visibility from those areas when you're looking over the highway to make sure that they won't see this kind of use being used. And our use is very soundless, because most of the equipment is going to be sitting there, and if there is it's a small kind of repair that's going to be inside the building. So that's what we also requesting for the dimensional use, to allow the outside storage within the 1,000 feet of residential area, even though there is a big highway in between. So we feel it will not impact the local resident. So that's what I would like to say.
Just for clarification, you mentioned dimensional variance. This is actually a development standards variance, where the first one was a use variance, for the record. Do you have your answers to the statement of reasons for this specific docket?
Yes.
So let's go through those. Number one, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because
this one will not affect, because of there will be no sound pollution and no air pollution, because the trucks are mostly, when it's for sale, it will be it will not be idling at the site, and also so we are there is a major intersection, a major interstate in between those properties. So we believe this is not going to be the health and safety hazards to the local residents of other side of the interstate.
okay, and the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because
this use is especially related to the other side of the highway, which is light industrial subdivision. So, and this use will not impact to the residential side, because of their value will not drop or anything happens to the property, because this is not in the jurisdictions of their subdivision, but it's in the area of 1,000 feet. So that's what I believe.
And in your written response, you discussed the property adjacent is already industrial, the presence of industrial and commercial activity is already expected, and that you align with that existing land use and does not deviate from the established industrial character. You recall
That's right.
that? Okay.
Yes.
Number three, the strict application of terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because
of the size of the lot, and also it's a little bit difficult for any other use. So we believe this is the right suitable use for this property, because less traffic coming in and out because of the truck sale, and also because of the trucks are not idling, and it will not have a sound pollution or air pollution. And I believe this is the right suitable use for this property.
And in your written response again, one of the things you pointed out was strictly adhering to the regulations would render a significant portion of property unusable and unproductive, and therefore denying the variance would impose undue and unnecessary hardships on the property owner, making it challenging to utilize the land effectively and in a manner that is consistent with the broader objectives of the community. Do you recall that and agree still?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Number 4, I'll handle, which is the structure is not regulated under Indiana Code 8-21-10-3 for hazard air navigation. Anything else you'd like to add before I open it up to others?
So the, whatever the structure we're gonna build, we will be building according to the local bylaws and architectural controls I have spoken to the city staff, and I have showed them what are the number of properties we have built across the nation, and we believe we will build the right property with better looking, and also with whatever the other special recommendation by the city planning and architect or structural, so we will follow those area, and once the property is ready, I think it will be very beneficial to the local subdivision, which is the other side of the highway.
Appreciate that. Anyone wishing to speak against this? Seeing none, staff, your comments?
Yeah, and I do, thank you, Kevin. Just a clarification, so this. Find the right tab here. This is a variance, it's a dimensional or developmental variance for the lot, and it's kind of a two-part. You have outdoor storage in our specific use standards, and part of the outdoor storage is that outdoor storage cannot be in a front yard. This is a through lot with 2 front yards, and the primary business that he's received permission for the use is to sell semi-trucks. So the product is the business. So with that, I just want to include that is a part of this. And then the homes, like he said, are across I-65. They're actually kind of diagonal to the property. So it's not even directly across the property. They're approximately 700 feet away from the property. With this being screened, we really don't see this being an issue. So yeah, that's section 1003.16.0, specific use standards, outdoor storage. And with that, our only recommendation was that, for a condition, was that only front cabs, not the rear container portions, shall be located at the property.
Which was also, I think, in the previous docket. So I assume that you are still good with that, Mr. Delaware?
Yes, yeah, I agree with the condition as
All right, anything else you want to add before I turn it over to the board?
well. Thank you.
Close public hearing?
Say when we did, you say that it's in order for both
Do you know what?
48 and.
I did not ask that for 49.
They did their mailings simultaneously, and everything is in order for both this petition and the last petition.
To
Into the record.
All right, Mr. Milborn, Mr. King, Ms. Peters, I have none. I will take a motion to direct to admit all the evidence in the record.
Chairman, I move that we admit all the evidence presented in regard to this matter, including the notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application and attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, the staff report prepared by the planning department, certified copies of the Unified Development Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan, testimony of the petitioner, city planning staff, and any remonstrators and all other exhibits presented, be they oral or written, for consideration by this board in regard to this petition, and to include the testimony of those present this evening.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. King. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. We do have two separate requests under this docket. So number one is to allow outdoor storage within 1,000 feet of residential property. Take a motion.
I move that we approve the request with the one condition listed in the staff report that we read.
Motion by Mr. King to approve with the one condition, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number two, to allow outdoor storage in a front yard.
I also move that we approve this request with the same condition.
That was a motion by Mr. King to approve with the same condition, second by Ms. Spears. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0 as well. Take a motion to direct the corporation's counsel draft written findings of fact.
Mr. Chairman, having considered the statutory criteria, I move that we direct the Corporation Counsel's Office to draft written findings of fact regarding our position on the variance request presented in variance petition number BZA 2023-049. Said findings to specifically incorporate the staff report and the evidence submitted into the record for consideration and adoption by the Board of Zoning Appeals as our final decision and final action regarding this petition at our next meeting.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. You are welcome to proceed. Even though we'll take final action in a couple weeks, you can start working with staff and getting things rolling. So our next meeting will not be until the second Monday in January. So because of the holidays. So I believe it'll be the 8th.
Yes.
All right, next up is docket BZA 2023-050, a development standards variance for 535 Worthville Road. Petitioner is Krista Taggart on behalf of Anderson Hauser, requesting relief from two sections of the Unified Development Ordinance. Number one, to allow mortar masonry to be reduced from 15% to 5% on the front facade. And number two, to allow some exposure of rooftop mechanical equipment. All those wishing to speak, please stand and be sworn in by our secretary.
You swear with Ms. Perjury, this is properly true to the best of your knowledge.
All the notice and receipts in order.
Everything is in order and in our files.
And question. All right. Sir, approach podium, tell us your name and address for the record.
Paul Wolf, 66 North Illinois, Indianapolis.
And also if you could fill that out on the sheet when you get an opportunity. And then tell us why you're here, Mr. Wolf.
We are here to request two variances to the development standards for our new office and industrial building at the Anderson Hauser campus on the Wardsville Road. One of those would be a reduction in the masonry percentage requirement. And the other one is exposure of a little bit of rooftop units above the code.
Okay, let's start with the front facade. Do you have your answers to the statement of reasons? Let's walk through those so we get them on the record. Number one, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because
The proposed facade is comparable to a high-end office building in design, materiality, and articulation. While the letter of the standard is not met in one facade area, the overall effect is a building which is aesthetically pleasing to occupants and the greater community.
okay, number two, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because
The standard calls for 15% bordered masonry on the north facade. The proposed north facade includes 5% limestone or cast stone masonry cladding. However, the aesthetic of the entire building is comparable to a high-end office building. The overall effect is aesthetically pleasing and aligns with the overall aesthetic of the adjacent buildings on the campus, maintaining a consistent look and feel with neighboring properties and uses.
and number three, the strict application of the terms of zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because
The nature of the proposed building design is a rigorous architectural module applied to program areas and optimized for both energy efficiency and natural daylighting. The limestone or cast stone areas fit within that module, and the overall design criteria believe the high quality design, materiality, and articulation of the building is commensurate with the intent of the standard, providing a high quality masonry cladding over the facade with varied articulation, expression, and texture.
and then number four, the structure is not regulated under Indiana Code 8-21-10-3 for hazard air navigation. Let's discuss the screening, mechanical screening, 100% opaque screen of the same material as the predominant material of the building, with the building located not visible to any public ways. Let's go through those statement of reasons. Number one, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because
proposed rooftop mechanical units are not very visible. We offer to paint the mechanical units white to match the building, thus blending into the building mass.
Number two, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because
The overall effect is aesthetically pleasing and aligns with the overall aesthetic of the adjacent buildings on the Anderson Housing campus, maintaining consistent look and feel with the neighboring properties and uses.
Number three, the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because
It is not structurally feasible to screen the rooftop mounted units with precast concrete panels, which is the predominant building cladding material, due to weight and wind load precast imposed on the roof.
and then again, the structure is not regulated under Indiana Code 8-21-10-3 for hazard air navigation. Anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I'll start with the masonry percentage.
Okay.
So we, as we noted in the response to this, we feel we've designed a kind of a high-end our office building that aligns with the other buildings on the Anderson Housing campus. It has white paneling, some masonry elements, which are again less than the percentage. It's of a kind with those buildings, but we believe it's a nice and aesthetically pleasing building. That being said, we have made some efforts to include masonry on that building facade, on the north facing building facade. So the renderings you're kind of passing around there. We have at the primary entry, which is a one-story element, we have actual masonry. So whether that's cast stone or limestone, we're kind of pricing that out, but it's actual masonry on that one-story element. Additionally, we have those areas of brown that are on that facade along the kind of first story and second story line dividing the facade up. Those are masonry book precast sections. So that'll be a precast wall panel, but it's going to be stained or colored to look like limestone. And it will be cast with a pattern, a surface texture pattern that will look like limestone. And those panels are, if you're standing directly against the building, are about 15 feet away from your eye. And actually, if you're on the sidewalk, you're even further away from that, 20, 25, 30 feet away from those panels. And at that distance, you won't be able to tell the difference between actual limestone and what we're proposing here, this facade. One of the other things just to consider in this is that the letter of the kind of standard is that the front facade is required for this percentage. Part of that front facade is a section of building that's 100 feet back from our main front of the building. That is a different design. It's a different feeling. One of the renderings there kind of shows an angle where you can see that other portion of the facade that's pushed way back. If that section is left out of the calculation and you include those areas that I just talked about that are sort of precast, we're actually at 15%. So that's sort of where we had started our design process. And as this kind of recommendations came out with staff, we realized they were going to add that section in, even though it's kind of a different part of the building. So those, just one other thing to note, as you go in that entry sequence, it's not on the front facade because it faces you as you come in, but you're walking between two walls of building. And both of those walls have that masonry on them as well. So that'll be a nice experience for people going into the building. They'll experience that masonry. It's just not, it doesn't happen to be turned towards the front facade of the building. Perfect. I'll move on to the rooftop screening, if that's okay. We did an analysis study and we submitted that as part of the exhibit. I think that was exhibit D for the rooftop units. And those, we pretty carefully chose the unit types, the locations of the units, and organized them on the roof to minimize the view as much as possible. As the study shows, there's certain views, for instance, right off of Worthsville, which is about 380 feet away from the facade of the building. You're going to see a little bit of a sliver of that rooftop unit above. There's a couple other views that were submitted as part of the exhibit. For instance, from the intersection of Worthsville and 31, that's a quarter of a mile away. They are pretty, you can see them as little pop-ups there, but at that distance, again, they're going to read as a white box, which will appear as part of the building. again, we recognize that they're kind of visible in those little sections, but we've taken pains to make sure that we're specing units which have all the vents and louvers and such things are oriented away from those views. So where they are visible is just a metal box that will be painted white and appear like part of the building.
Okay.
So again, they're minimally visible from a pretty far distance away. So that's
Okay.
And I will invite Marisol from the representative client here.
Name and address for the record.
Yes, Marisol Sanchez, my personal address, I guess, it's 11335 Traeburn Drive, Fishers, Indiana. And I'm vice president of legal and general counsel for the company, but also executive sponsor for this project. First of all, I just want to say thank you for hearing us today. We've been a great partner with the city, and I just wanted to add a little bit of context around the variances that we are asking for today. Well, first of all, we're really excited about this project and what it can add to the business landscape. And as you all, I'm sure, are very well know, that we have been in this community for over 50 years, and throughout that tenure, we built 5 different buildings to create this campus. And throughout that time, we have been known for the aesthetic quality and the standards of our building, and one of our buildings, because they represent us and who we are. And one of the reasons that we've usually been touted as having high quality standard buildings is because for the family, we're a family-owned company, quality standards are primary importance, because it's not only a representation of the company itself, but as a family-owned company, it's a representation of the family itself. So we pride ourselves on those standards, and this building will be no different. As Paul mentioned, it will be very consistent with the campus feel and look. This is an area where we will be bringing customers. We are seeking to attract talent, bringing employees to campus. We are also going to be inviting the community into our buildings, similar to what we do currently in our buildings and the existing infrastructure. So I just wanted to leave you all with that, the context behind that, and to assure you that we will maintain those quality standards, and it will be an aesthetically pleasing architecturally, but also inviting building for the community, but also for our corporation. And if you have any questions, I stand here open and willing to answer any questions, but Paul will be able to get into more of the details if you have questions.
We'll save questions from the board here in a moment. So thank you so much. Anyone else wishing to speak to this? Seeing none, I'll ask staff for your comments. I know you had quite a few in the report.
We had several comments in the report. I can speak to that. I guess overall, what we look at for the staff report is whether or not this meets the requirements set forth for variance. Whether or not one agrees entirely with our architectural standards, it's maybe for another day, but in what we've been provided, looking at it, I haven't found a solid reason, at least for the masonry, of why that cannot be brought up to 15%. I appreciate what they've done with the building and the design, but I'd still like to see that. I mean, this is the same partner with all our industrial loads too. As for the rooftop mechanical units, that one's a little trickier. I wish the parapet could be brought up a little bit. That would probably take care of the screening. I don't know if that's a possibility. I think the painting of them white so they blend in is probably sufficient and honestly better than most other buildings in the city. Not as concerned about that. So we did recommend denial for both of those. If you were to approve, we would ask that the plans substantially conform to the site plan and the building elevations as we always do, and that the mechanical units are conditioned to be painted white.
To match the building.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any comments on that?
No, I agree.
Nothing additional. All right, then I will close the public hearing, open up the board, Mr. Milborn. Mr. King,
No, I mean, I think the 12%, that's my eyes.
On the masonry.
yeah. Mrs. Peters,
I guess I have some struggles with why worry about painting something you're not gonna see from street level anyway. You'd have to be up in an airplane to see the unit in order to be. So I'm just struggling with why that would be something that would be of importance, but other than that, I have no questions.
so what percentage are we at with the current design on the masonry?
The masonry itself is 7%, and then there's 5% of the limestone-like material around the windows.
So we get a 12% effect.
Yes,
That includes the setback area that he discussed was
Yes.
included. And if we eliminated that, are they over 15% of effective masonry, or we don't know the answer?
I don't have those numbers to figure that.
So,
I have one chart, yes, we were at 15%, if you eliminate that back area, we're right at 15%, which is where we designed to originally, before we realized that would be included.
It was communicated early on that would be
That would be
a front
counted.
facade. I do want to just clarify for the mechanical screening equipment. If you couldn't see it from street view, we would not be here for a screening variance. You can see it from street view. We're asking for a higher parapet wall so that you couldn't see it from street view. But as Kevin stated, that painting would be a better alternative if you were to approve that.
And Exhibit D in the staff report does show the street view
Yeah.
from the intersection of 31 and Worthsville, where
you can see it.
See the
just-
tops of
You can
the-
see the top of
but
it,
you
yeah.
can't see the entire.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but it is visible. Okay, so. I think that's all the questions I have. I think there's been arguments on both sides of this, so. Okay. I will take a motion to admit all the evidence into the record.
Chairman, I move that we admit all the evidence presented in regard to this matter, including the notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application and attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, the staff report prepared by the planning department, certified copies of the Unified Development Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan, testimony of the petitioner, city planning staff, and any remonstrators and all other exhibits presented, be they oral or written, for consideration by this board in regard to this petition, and to include the testimony of those present this evening.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. King. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Take a motion on request number 1 to allow ordered masonry to be reduced from 15 to 5% on the front facade.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve this request with condition number 1 on the staff report, which reads, the final plans shall substantially conform to the site plan depicted in Exhibit E and building elevations depicted in Exhibit C.
Have a motion to approve with that one condition. All those in favor, or second by Mrs. Peters, sorry. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. And then I have a motion for request number 2 to allow some exposure on rooftop mechanical equipment.
I move to approve this request with the same condition.
And do you want?
No.
You do not, okay. Clarify. So I have a motion to approve with just condition number 1 on the staff report, second by Mrs. Peters. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Take a motion to direct the corporation council to draft written findings of fact.
Mr. Chairman, we consider the statutory criteria, move that we direct the Corporation Counsel's Office to draft written findings of fact regarding our decision on the variance request presented in variance petition number BZA 2023-050. Said findings to specifically incorporate the staff report and the evidence submitted into the record. We consideration and adoption by the Board of Zoning Appeals of their final decision and final action regarding this petition at our next meeting.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Any new business from the floor? Sir, again, we'll take final action on the 8th, but you're welcome to start working with staff.
Yeah, I do have new business from the floor. We approved our PC and BZA meeting schedules for 2024. A typo was found in the meeting schedule. It's actually just the wrong month that was put for one of the submittal dates. It does not affect the meeting dates, the public hearings. I will pass down highlighted the date that we're changing. And then the second thing I'll pass down is the new proposed month for you guys to approve if you so choose to. Take one and pass it down. And this is the clean sheet. And if you are able to hang on to those, I will reuse them for plan commission and save a tree.
So it's just the one date.
So it's just the one date, the wrong month was placed there. We cannot time travel, so I would recommend that you approve the revised meeting schedule for 2024.
Take a motion to approve the revised schedule. Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much.
We get back to that. Go ahead and pass it back down if you're done, gentlemen.
No, he wants to reuse it for us in the next.
Any announcements?
No new announcements, just happy holidays to all of you guys. We'll see you next year.
Agreed. Everyone enjoy the holidays. Hopefully get a break while you're at it. Appreciate all you've done this year on the board. And we'll welcome our new attorney to the board, and Mr. Swihart. Welcome. Appreciate having you on board. Looking forward to working with you next year. Any other announcements from legal? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.